So one of the things that we've talked about, Debbie and I too, was about starting the service with just a moment to recognize the space. And this was a piece that I'm that was written and used by John Higgins at another UU community, and I'm going to share this with us now. So welcome to this space. This is a home where no revealed truths are promoted, no scripture or human being accepted as infallible. This is a place for searching for truth. But we are believers. We believe in intellectual freedom. We believe in justice. We believe in compassion and concern for each other and the whole world. And we believe in a commitment to those ideals which make us caring and active in the struggles for human dignity. We are Unitarian Universalists. So I don't see any newcomers today to welcome, I don't believe. So I'm going to ring the mindfulness bell to start the sacred part of our service and light a chalice, and that will follow with Debbie. Debbie, are you unmuted?
Yes.
Okay, great. And Debbie will offer a reading. May this beautiful lavender scented flame provide peace to all of you as this day and service begin.
Everyone must leave something behind when she dies, my grandfather said. A child or a book or a painting or a house or a wall built or a pair of shoes made or a garden planted. Something your hand touched some way so your soul has somewhere to go when you die. And when people look at that tree or that flower you planted, you're there. It doesn't matter what you do, he said, as long as you change something from the way it was before you touched it into something that's like you after you take your hands away.
I believe that was an extract from Fahrenheit 451. We're going to take a moment to have a short silent meditation. And I only have two musical pieces for today, and we'll save the next one for later at the end of the service. So I'll bring us out of the meditation gently with breathing and with the bell. So please join me. Let's close our eyes and let's find a comfortable position. You know, if you're comfortable with putting your feet on the floor, that's great. But what's most comfortable is that, well, what's most important is that you find what's comfortable to you in your body. So just take a moment and please allow your eyes to just gently close. Let's take a moment and pay attention to our breathing as we breathe into that silent space within ourselves and into whether it's complete silence or contemplation or prayer or whatever your personal practice and place of peace is. Let's invite us as a community to find our way to that place of peace. let us gently come back to our presence in our room, wherever we are, by taking a deep breath in and out long. And let's do that 3 times slowly. Welcome back, everyone. Often people that teach meditation or mindfulness, they they recognize the resetting of breath, how that just resets our consciousness, shifts the way we think, um, shifts down and quiets the thinking mind. 3 deep breaths do amazing things for us. And having a corporate job, that 3 deep breaths is a big part of my life, trying to keep that way, to try to stay centered amidst the challenges of our being human, right? So I'm going to move into our my talk and pull this up here. So the talk today is called Love Never Ends. And so usually I write out a talk. I do, I write I put a lot of thought into it. It's all mapped out. It's all specifically planned, and this completely is not. So please, I ask your patience with this, and hopefully it'll offer us what serves us today. But basically, we're here together to besides our Sunday service, to recognize the loss in the lives of Paul and Lisa with the passing of Lisa's mother, June, and to recognize how impactful relationships and love is to all of us in our lives. The piece that Paul sent out to us all about June in that email was really, really so well written and so beautiful. Did you all have a chance to read it? No. So I'm going to read through it, if that's okay, to one more time, so we could just share these words, and hopefully Paul will get a chance to hear this recording, and Lisa, and real and feel what we are experiencing with them as a community today. So he wrote that she was 96, and she was a force of nature. A veteran, having served in World War II as a wave in the Women's Naval Reserve. After her service, she started her career as an antiques dealer in New York City, and as one of the dealers selling the estate of William Randolph Hearst. And that sale had come to be known as the sale of the century. Eventually, after moving to New Jersey, she opened her own antique store and became one of the tri-state area's most respected dealers and appraisers. In the mid-70s, she expanded her business and began Regal Associates, conducting real estate sales and tag sales. At the time, she was one of the very few businesses that did this sort of work, and quickly established herself as the leader in the business in this area. And Lisa soon began working with her early on and continues on this business today. Let me repeat, her full name is June Regal. June was a political junkie, a progressive left Democrat, and was looking forward to casting her vote in November. And an avid reader of the New York Times. She would pore over every page each morning, often yelling at the news and calling Trump names. More important to me, to Paul, though more important to me, he wrote, though, was the love she had for her family. She loved her children and grandchildren and constantly cavilled over them as any good Jewish mother and grandmother does. To me, she was my mother. She encouraged me in my ministry and insisted upon reading my sermons and loved my cooking. She was a member of the Unitarian Society of Ridgewood, New Jersey, for years, and it was partly due to her that I ended up as a Unitarian Universalist. She loved life and laughed a lot. Her favorite word, I think, was wow, which she said often, whether it was looking at a tree, a cloud, eating her favorite meal of linguine and clam sauce, or looking at a piece of antique pottery or a beautiful piece of art. This leaves a great hole and certainly will bring about some changes in our lives. She will be sorely missed. What a beautiful love he has shared here for June Regal. And it sounds like this whole family will miss her dearly. You know, it's extraordinary when we talk about love. And, you know, we recognize it in all the rituals of life. And as an interfaith minister, much of my career as a minister, besides being involved in activism, was creating services, baby blessings, weddings, and funerals. And it became abundantly clear to me that all of these rituals, all of these services were really about love. You know, when a baby is born, it's probably, and if you are parents or aunts or uncles or grandparents, right, what is more like impactful than seeing and welcoming a new baby into our life, right? What is more impactful than recognizing romantic love and a commitment to spend a life together in a wedding? And also, what is more impactful than recognizing that we are now separate when we lose somebody in body, that we are now separate from someone that we have cherished and loved. These are the most impactful things in our lives. And they are the moments where we are really, really clear on love. And it didn't matter that June was 96. You know, we say, yes, that's a life well lived, and she lived a long, great, healthy life, and she seems that she was vibrant. I don't know all the details of her life, that she was vibrant till she passed, and that this was a surprise. It's like the perfect transition you would look at in a lifetime, yet it's so painful because love doesn't care how old you are. Love doesn't care. Love doesn't care if the life was perfect. It just knows that you're not there. And it's so difficult to lose that we love. And naturally, what do we do but we grieve when we lose somebody we love? But we only grieve if we've loved. If you live a life with love, deep and profound love in your life, if you care, you will grieve. It's not something you can bypass. It's part of the human experience. And though, in the words of Thomas Lynch, he wrote, "We got no choice. If we love, we grieve." And I think that's really valuable to realize when we are in grief, that we are, in a sense, though we are suffering, we're gifted that we did have a chance to love what we lost, whether it's a partner, a family member, a pet, a career, sometimes a home. But it's what mattered the most that's been removed from us. But the truest loves are the love that we share for sentient beings. So I'm going to share with you Many of you probably know is a really common Christian piece that's used at weddings. And I'm going to read this because I actually use it at funerals. And one of the things we're going to do after this talk is we're just going to open up and have a community talk on this subject. But just to share a piece of scripture that I feel gives a little clarity to this and supports what I've been saying. And this is Paul's first letter to the Corinthians. And virtually most couples that I ask to, if they'd like readings at their weddings, I'll go through maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 readings. Almost all of them pick this. Muslim couples pick this. I've had couples that are mixed, Catholic and Muslim, and they'll pick this Christian piece because of how it impacts them. Paul's first letter to the Corinthians. If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have the prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. And if I give away all I have and deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. I think when people hear the words love never ends, it strikes a chord of truth in their hearts, like few lines do. When we hear love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious, yes, we get it. But that strikes the chord. Because we realize that love is the only thing that's truly ever existing. It's the only thing, if we're blessed, we get to experience before we're born. It's the only thing that we actually get to take with us. I know we all have, unique belief systems, which is such a gift in this community. Maybe love is really the only thing we get to leave behind. So to paraphrase Paul, if we have all faith so as to move mountains, we have, but not have love, we are nothing. So in this dialogue, we witness what is greater than moving a mountain in life, and that is purely and only to love. My friend Moshe Ruman was my boss at my job that I worked at. He was a color expert, and he was a devout Orthodox Jewish man. And people are truly spiritual people when their whole life is walking the truth of who they are, when they bring it into everything they do. And I was at work one day, and I had only worked in this company 3 weeks, and I got a call that morning, and I didn't really know anyone here, that my father had died. And he had died, to my surprise, overnight. He was in an assisted living facility, and I had talked to him, I think it was a day or two before, and was with him. It was a surprise. So I went over to Moshe as I got this call from my brother, and I said, I'm sorry, I have to leave work. I just got a call that my father died. Moshe didn't even know me, and he didn't even say anything. He just wrapped his arms around me and hugged me. So extraordinary And Moshe continued. I worked with that man for about 9 years. And the only time I ever cried in my career, and I've been in my business for 40 years, was the day that somebody laid off that man. I loved him like another father. And he would always share amazing wisdom. One of the things he said to me was this. He said, Sonia, my rabbi used to say, what is better, to go to a funeral or to go to a party? And I would say, gee, I would think to go to a party. That would be my answer. And he'd say, no. He said, when you leave a party, you're sad that the party is over. But when you leave a funeral, though you're sad for your loss, you realize you have a whole life ahead of you. You have a breath, you have a body, and you have every day to choose what you want to do with it. So he would always plant the seed of hope and of inspiration and of action in any dialogue he could, and wisdom. And, I've spent several years trying to find him. I hope he's still on the planet. But if he's not, he's still very much alive in my heart. And so as we move into a conversation together about loss and death and love and life, I welcome us to think about as we go into our day, and when this does end and our service is over, to send our love and prayers and intentions to Paul and Lisa and the family, but to realize our gift in this body at this time, to be able to love and be alive and breathe and do what we can with all what feels like a precious short time to be alive on this earth. And so may it be so, and blessed be.